Welcome in YouTube, it's Juicy going over the test server gameplay. So we only were allowed to get 2 rounds in. The third round didn't launch, sadly. I ended up beating Dorky. Again, we are testing, right? He kind of, I listened to his fights. Basically, room 6 caught him off guard, and then because he lost, he then went into testing. Um, but to kind of recap his attacks, because his is really interesting and it gives us some ideas. So, room 6 is going to be kind of a nightmare. Um, the Mephisto with the Illuminati is going to be very difficult to kill. You can one-shot it with the APOC Odin Spare 6. That's 3 big teams for most people on offense that I don't think is going to be worth the one-shot. You can 2-tap it with just double sacking and then Superior 6 APOC is even my guess after the double sack. So that's going to be probably the general comp that the people are going to use. Then they're going to come back in and clean up. So that is something to watch out for, and so that's my recommendation to how to handle this. Because I'm going to recommend this as a defense is 2 sacks. You're going to have to pause for 5 minutes. So you're just going to literally load in with Black Order, pause, load in with Infinity Watch. Like let Shuri take her turn, let Hank take her turn, pause. So that's 10 minutes of your life you're just going to waste sitting there doing nothing. Letting the timer run out. You cannot play these matches out. You have to time it out, or you'll run into some problems. And then you follow up with the Superior 6 Apocalypse, and it'll be just fine. Black Knight and Mephisto doesn't change a whole lot. The only one that might change would be Odin, but not even Odin will change that a whole lot because of the way his kit works. You will need APOC for this fight to clean it up. So I think that's going to be it. Another solid attack that he did, which is very concerning for those that thought Orcus was going to be a great defense. It actually got smoked by Hive Mind. It's just something that's going to be kind of in my video, or kind of what I'm kind of showcasing is that the older raid teams get a lot bigger buffs, and so they're a lot more valuable. So Hive Mind, Spider Society, even as you saw in my last video, or in this similar video same time, right? Because these are all coming out at almost the same exact moment. This you know, you can still get value out of your old raid teams in this room against the newer raid teams because the buffs kind of equal them out. So be very cautious on what you put on defense, what raid teams you put on defense, and which ones you're getting the most value out of, because there's a lot of them that beat each other, especially under the player's control, as you'll see throughout the season as I try to get those first few attacks in, showcasing those attacks, and you'll see that on the spreadsheet. That's a big reason to use the spreadsheet, is you'll start seeing, okay, Night Stalkers loses to the OG raid team with Deathpool. They lose to Spider Society. Those are 2 examples of 2 teams, right? So you may have one of those on offense just in case you see a Night Stalkers, and may caution you to put them on defense. That's kind of the other big one. Just for the recap of his attacks, the rest of them, or I'll let him do it on his video, even though you probably watched that one before you watched mine. Let's go into the defense of what I'm personally running for round 1, and kind of going over that. So room 1, this is kind of a weird room. It's nice, but it's not amazing. So I'm going to put in a dodge team that's going to be just kind of annoying. I'm going to put that Nightcrawler with the Alpha Flight members that's not North Star, because again, I'm putting North Star on defense. So you notice right off the bat, I'm purposely keeping Orcus on offense, keeping Hive Mind on offense, keeping Super Skull on offense. These are very important tools that, because of what I'm putting on defense, offense, right? Because part of this season is all about balancing raid versus raid on offense and raid on defense. If you put too many raid teams on defense, you're in very dangerous of not clearing room 3, because there are teams that do not scratch other raid teams because of the way their kits were designed. Easy example, my room 3 really would need a mirror match. Probably loses to Orcus, probably loses to Spider Society, but if you have Orcus and Spider Society on defense, you really don't have any offensive tools without like a Super Scroll or an Odin or an Apocalypse to take out. And so that is a problem, right? So make sure that, but that's where I have my offensive tools. So just keep that in mind. So track with me, right? Because you can definitely do something different in room 3. Room 2, I'm going to keep that Super Skull on offense for the first week because I don't want to get caught off guard on a particular team particular makeup. So keep Super Scroll on offense. I think Black Knight in here does more than enough to draw what it needs to. This team's going to be very difficult to clear in a one shot. Easy to sack and then come back in and clean up. It's almost a nothing burger once it's been sacked. But then again, I got that one sack, and that's probably all I needed out of this room. Room 3, the Night Stalkers. That missing spot right there, that would be Man Thing. If you do not have Man Thing, this team is not a good team to have on defense whatsoever. It's too slow. A lot of teams will blow it up, partly because without Man Thing, Hive Minds is going to come in here and they're going to kill North Star out the gate. And then they're going to get Terminator because North Star's dead. Because North Star doesn't have a lot of health. He only has 3 million health, and even maxed out at 3 diamonds, G19. And that Hive Mind old opening is going to kill him because they have extra damage because it's a raid team with raid buffs. So keep that in mind, that unless you have Man Thing to keep the speed almost at the same, right? Because then Man Thing's giving them 20% speed. So now your Night Stalkers are going to go just as fast as the Hive Mind is going to be going. Like, they're going to be slower, but not much slower. And so that gap in speed will be the difference, right? Because without Man Thing, this isn't the team. And so you're going to ask yourself, well, what if I don't have Man Thing? What if I didn't buy the team? I purposely put 4 right here because I actually may switch these before I put my own defense out, or put for my week, because I do have the full team. This is a playtest, by the way. That's why Man Thing's not in that place. I don't have Man Thing on the test server. Whatever the team I have in room 4, literally just grab it, move it to 3. The Spider Society is an amazing defensive team in room 3. It's a great offensive team. It will beat a lot of the other teams. It will beat your Night Stalkers probably beats Orcus. It definitely beats like Hive Mind. So it's a great offensive team, and it'll beat the mirror. It will mirror itself pretty well. The Weaver there is to help fight off the mirror because of the constant charges, making them miss. It can get very, very ugly, very, very fast, and get very close to timeout. Don't need 29. I think 29 is a mistake. You're going to want Nor there to constantly put out damage, lower the counters to go into it. And Weaver's, again, just there. But so if you don't have Man Thing, that's what my recommendation is, to take that Spider Society, put them in room 3. I would not put them with Mephisto because they, as you see in my previous video, there's a team with Odin, right? The Mystic Raid team with Odin, the Asgardians will one-shot it. And then you gave them an incentive to use Odin in room 3, right? You want Mephisto on offense, you want Mephisto in room 6, doing what he does, right? He's not his value is just so much better elsewhere. This team can slide anywhere, right? I can switch Sus Annihilators and Mephisto, Illuminati in different rooms, and it'll be just fine. I think room 6 is the hardest one to clear. I think that 6 is a no-brainer for the 2 teams I just said. Mephisto Illuminati is very difficult to clear, and then Hive Mind Super Scroll, or sorry, Annihilator Super Scroll is going to be the second team that's very difficult. They're going to take very specific counters, so check that out on what they're going to take to clear. But those are the main things I recommend in 6. I don't recommend putting anything else. And because I have Super Scroll on offense for around my week 1, I'm going to have this in room 6. Super Scroll Annihilators is going to be a great team in 6. Everything else, it's too difficult of a room to not put something amazing, because this is going to be the linchpin of a lot of defenses. Probably more than the raid room. The raid room is just more of an overarching thing. It's going to make you force you to balance your raid teams that you don't have too many, or the right combo of raid teams on defense versus offense. And then room 5, I kind of like this team. I don't love it. Titania, Auxiliary Man, the 3 there, and then you can still get that value out of Nightcrawler over here. If you put Nightcrawler here, I'd obviously put him over Titania. In the test server, Superior 6 Vultures just destroys it. There's plenty of teams that still win. Zorman does add that extra difficulty to control, but he does not make this impossible to clear, right? The teams that are going to beat it are already going to beat it, even with the team. And then if you're trying to use a budget counter, then that's already on you. Then you're already in a bad spot. There's plenty of offense to clear this room, especially because we're balancing. You're gonna be, because of the raid room forces you to have more on offense. Just with the simple fact that if you put all your raid teams on defense, you're gonna find yourself unable to clear. And in the season of last season where we had Orcus, Night Stalkers, um, Spider Society. You know, we're relying on 3, sometimes 4 raid teams to be on defense for Crucible. The fact that we can't do that, because if you do that, if you put all 4 or 5 of your premier raid teams on defense, when you run into room 3, it's going to be a nightmare, because then you have virtually no options to clear it, if that makes sense. And so that's going to force people to have a little bit more on offense in order to make sure they don't get stuck in 3, right? So that's kind of the overarching thing of a raid 3. Whereas room 6 is the actual bottleneck. I think we're going to see more people not clear room 6 than room 3 this season because of the 2 comps that I just mentioned. We'll get them down to a science, and then, as I said with the other rooms, they're pretty straightforward. Make sure to look out for my videos on my attacks for the next couple of weeks, or round 1. Definitely make sure that those get out to y'all. This is the envoy thing, so it doesn't really share. But anyway, best of luck in y'all's round 1. Let me know your thoughts, what you're running, what you're thinking. You know, I could be crazy on what I have, could be incorrect, but anyway, best of luck in y'all's round 1. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you agree with my picks, don't like my picks. Feel free to comment that. Again, this video, one of the biggest question marks that we were left with on this playtest was, what does Man-Thing do with Night Stalkers in room 3? Because he wasn't available for anybody. It did help us answer how room 6 worked. I forgot to mention that, so I'm going to bring that up right here. Room 6, no healing whatsoever, so redistributing health. Drain do not work in room 6, so don't expect anything with Mephisto. Odin is not a safe one-shot, especially if it's a fast team, a very dangerous team. I almost lost in mine, and the Dorky lost his because of the fact that Odin's not a reliable one-shot from Mephisto. So just a reminder for that for room 6. Later, y'all.